Right now on For the Record.
This is a serious problem that we have here in southwestern Pennsylvania.
Fighting food insecurity in the Pittsburgh region.
Demand is at an all-time high, higher than it was at the peak of the pandemic.
Now, ahead of this week's WTAE Project Hunger Day of Giving, we speak with leaders from the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank.
Food insecurity is unacceptable, and we can address that as a community if we all come together.
How you can help address this problem impacting so many of our neighbors. For the Record starts now. Welcome to For the Record. I'm Ryan Recker.
I'm Michelle Wright.
And I'm Janelle Hall. The reason the three of us are teaming up for this edition of For the Record is because the subject we're going to talk about takes a team effort, and we're talking about the fight against food insecurity.
When a person is food insecure, they don't know when they'll see their next meal or where it will come from.
And WTAE's annual Project Hunger Day of Giving is this Thursday, September 18th, with coverage all day long dedicated to supporting the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank.
And to learn more, I spoke with the president and CEO of the food bank, Lisa Scales. I want to thank Lisa Scales, the president and CEO of the food bank, for coming in and talking to us about this very important situation. When you look at the numbers in America, we know 44 million people are food insecure, 13 million are children. Can you break down what it looks like for our neighbors in need here in southwestern Pennsylvania?
Yes, Michelle, here in southwestern Pennsylvania, nearly 320,000 of our neighbors are food insecure, which means they don't always know where their next meal is coming from. And of that 320,000, 1 in 5 are children.
And the need is great.
It is. This is a serious problem that we have here in southwestern Pennsylvania, and it's often hidden. We interact with people every day who are food insecure, but we don't always know it.
Right. Can you explain why the community as a whole should care about this? What is the impact to our whole region?
Well, if you don't have consistent access to nutritious food, it impacts you. Think of it as a child. You have difficulty learning. As a senior, it impacts your health, especially it can add to chronic diseases such as diabetes and hypertension. It impacts everyone from a newborn to a senior.
Let's talk about the funding for a second. How are you doing? And I know things are maybe a little unsettled now in terms of anything that you might be eligible for. So how are you doing?
Well, this is certainly uncertain times. That's what I'm certain about, is how uncertain it is. With the changes at the federal level, it has impacted our organization, both in terms of funding, but also in terms of our food supply. There were loads of nutritious food that were canceled out from under us. So that has impacted us. But the biggest impact is on the people we serve. Changes to SNAP and to Medicaid are going to dramatically impact many of the people we serve, half of whom are seniors and children.
And what about, you said the food supply, you're talking about local agriculture, the local farmers, are they impacted at all by what they can provide you?
They are. Local farmers were counting on us to continue to use those federal funds to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables from them, from dairy products as well. And now we're not able to do that. So it's impacting our local farmers.
You know, I'm thinking back during the pandemic when we saw those enormous lines at the food bank. So many people were in need, and it was evident because we could see the lines. How are you doing now?
The lines are still there, and they're actually growing, Michelle. Demand is at an all-time high, higher than it was at the peak of the pandemic.
With all of the changes and all of the uncertainty, are things sustainable for our food bank here?
It's only sustainable if the community steps up and continues to support us, which I'm confident they will. But it is a challenging time. We alone cannot make up the difference in the federal funding cuts. The state is being challenged by additional burdens on the state to support folks who are receiving SNAP benefits or on Medicaid. This is going to be a challenging time for both the government and for nonprofits.
Are tariffs impacting you at all?
They haven't dramatically impacted us. We do see food prices about 25% of the product we distribute is purchased, and so we have seen prices increase, and that has impacted our bottom line, our operating budget.
So what can people do if someone's out there watching the show and they need help? What do you recommend?
Well, if people need help, they should definitely go to our website, pittsburghfoodbank.org. They can also call the food bank, 412-460-3663. For people who want to help support us, they can volunteer. We accept financial donations. We also are looking for people to advocate. We want to have a strong partnership with the government so that everyone in our community can thrive.
This has to be stressful for you.
It is a stressful time, certainly.
How long have you been at the food bank now?
Since 1996.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
How do you feel about everything that's happening and all the changes? Because you're experiencing the need firsthand with dealing with these people every day.
I am so proud of our organization, our staff, our board, the community, the volunteers, everyone coming together. And I'm excited about what we're able to do together to address food insecurity. But at the same time, I'm heartbroken for people knowing the struggles that the families have who are coming to us, and additional families who will find themselves in need for the first time ever.
Hopefully this awareness will help bring some more support your way.
I hope so. I expect that once again, the community will come together and say it's not acceptable that kids are going to bed hungry. It's not acceptable that seniors are choosing between paying for their medication and paying for food.
Still ahead on For the Record, a look at the programs provided by the food bank to help people in need.
Welcome back to For the Record as we continue to look at the need in our community served by the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank.
The food bank recently announced that it distributed 53 million meals across its 11 county service area between July of 2024 and June of 2025. That's 5 million more meals than had been distributed the year before.
And the food bank cannot do the work that they do without their many partners. And to talk more about that, I sat down with Charlize McKinney, the food bank's Chief Program Officer, as well as Chief Operating Officer, Justin Lee. So much to discuss here. Let's first talk about programs and partners and the scope of all of this. We're looking at 1,000 partners over 11 counties. How do you do it all?
Well, we have great relationships throughout the community. So we start with a wonderful staff who are connected to each one of our partners. And then we just have a vast network of partners who are able to provide service right at the community level. So we have our food pantries, our soup kitchens, our child nutrition programs. So just a really great network of people looking to help serve our neighbors.
Justin, as we turn to you, how would you describe the partners and programs, and once again, the scope of all of this?
Yeah, so the partners that we have run the gamut in terms of food assistance. We have food pantries, on-site services like soup kitchens, after-school programs, backpack programs. So any of these community groups that are looking to serve the community together. And I'm personally very grateful for their partnership in this, because we as one food bank can't reach the span of the 11 counties that we do serve. And so they're a vital part of us working together to serve the community.
Such an expansive operation, and you both just detailed there what happens off-site. Let's get back to on-site and your headquarters, and you've gone through just a tremendous transformation there and have gone through some great upgrades there. Anyone that hasn't seen the facility, I'm sure would come away impressed. Highlight for us what has gone on there and perhaps what is next. What does the future hold?
Sure. One of the things that we did as part of our renovation was we built an on-site food pantry called The Market. It's open 6 days a week, so our neighbors can come visit us Monday through Saturday. We're seeing about 160 families a day coming in through there. And so for the future, we're looking to enhance their services. We have lockers that are available for families who are not able to make it during our hours of operations, where they can pick up food from the lockers when it's convenient for them. And we're also looking to connect our neighbors to more essential resources. So if they need food, it's often that they need other services. So connecting them with housing and utility assistance or employment opportunities, financial services, and things of that nature.
Yeah, on the other end of that side is the food bank headquarters in Duquesne is also acting as a distribution center for the service area that we have. And so we have the warehouse in there, we have a number of coolers, and part of our strategic plan and efforts are really to increase the amount of produce that we distribute into the community, the amount of fresh foods that we have, like meats and milk, dairy, eggs, and the like, and we see that these are highly sought after in the community. So we transformed our organization, our warehouse space, to be able to handle these more perishable products so that we can maintain the cold chain and make sure that it's the safest and best quality that we can get out.
I know for the both of you, sometimes when you're in the day-to-day, minute-by-minute operation, perhaps you don't look at what a significant transformation has taken place, because you have so much to do on a daily basis. But when you do step back and take inventory of what's gone on there, and what type of a feeling does that give you, and how impressive is all of it?
It's a really rewarding experience. We talk to people on a daily basis who are finding themselves in really tough situations. So with the support of the community and our ability to keep transforming ourselves in a way that serves the community brings a personal sense of pride and joy to be able to serve the community in a really impactful way.
Likewise, I'm very thankful, not only to the food bank staff who invest and are so passionate for the mission, for the community that steps up and gives financial donations and or volunteers with us in our volunteer engagement center out into the community. We can't do the things that we do on a regular basis without this broad support that we have.
And to quickly follow up on that, how can someone be involved, whether that is as a volunteer, or how can they financially support your efforts?
Sure. So first, just for anyone who may need food assistance, please come to us. You can visit our website or you can give us a call. For those who are wanting to support us, of course, financial donations are welcome. No amount is too small. Every dollar counts for us. You can also volunteer your time to help us, but also you can lend your voice to speak out and really raise the issues of food insecurities and the impacts of it.
I would point people to our website as well, just to get in a lay of the land for all those different ways of engaging with the food bank.
How about the encouragement perhaps necessary for a person that is in need but might be too proud to come forward and say, hey, I do need this help. I do need support. What would you say to that person?
Just come on, we will welcome you with open arms. There is no shame in it. We take pride in serving all of our guests with dignity and respect. And if you find that you're still having a difficult time coming forward, if you have a friend, a family member, or a neighbor, they can pick up food on your behalf.
And Justin, finally for you, we've talked about big things here. We've obviously seen big things. What are the next big things here for the food bank as we look forward?
Yeah, absolutely. We are in the process of coming up with our next strategic plan for the organization. And I think some of the uncertainty in the climate today lends itself to us really developing those plans and making new goals for ourselves as an organization. We want to continue to innovate as we have over the last 5 years and be able to serve the community in a better and stronger way.
Still ahead.
Food pantries and meal programs really all throughout southwestern Pennsylvania. It's volunteers and people in the community are the ones who are powering this.
How the community comes together to help fight food insecurity.
Welcome back to For the Record.
We continue our look ahead to WTAE's Project Hunger Day of Giving, which benefits the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank.
I had the chance to talk with the food bank's Chief Financial Officer, Gary Doyle, as well as its Chief External Affairs Officer, Charlotte Irwin Buncher. Thank you both so much for being here with us today. We make pleas so often with the public about food insecurity and ways that they can help. Help tell the story behind that for people who aren't familiar with the families that you come in contact with and the individuals you help on a daily basis. We'll start with you.
So sometimes we say at the food bank, our name is Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, and the most important word in our organization name is community. So addressing food insecurity is something that we all do together as a community, and the food bank is really just the convener of that. So there is incredible work going on throughout our 11 county service area to make sure that families, children, seniors, everybody has enough food to eat, and we really could not do that without the generous community coming together to support financial donations, all of our partners that help us do this work all throughout our service area, and also all of our volunteers and our advocates as well.
And when we talk about that money coming in, let's talk about some of the community partners and the impact all those dollars have.
Well, one of the things that's really important is that we are good stewards of the resources that are entrusted to the organization. 92% of every resource, every dollar contributed to us goes right back out into the community in the form of food or program assistance. So we'd like to see that impact throughout the entire region instead of just concentrated in one area.
For people where money is tight, so often here in Pittsburgh, that doesn't matter. They still want to help their neighbors in need. Talk about the characteristics that you see in the people who help contribute to the funds that I know are so important to the program.
Our supporters are some of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life. So whether you're making a $5 donation or a $1,000 donation or making a food donation at a local food drive, folks, it's really connecting on a human level to create the community that we want. And food insecurity is unacceptable. And we can address that as a community if we all come together.
Talk about some of the people that you work with, organizations that you work with that step up in such a big way to make such a difference.
We're so lucky. We have incredible partners. We have a number of corporate supporters that come out and not only offer resources to us, financial resources, but also come out and volunteer their time, bring their teams out to the food bank. And those companies who really prioritize and make that part of the workday for some of their employees, that is just so meaningful, and it really makes such a difference. We really could not do our work without the volunteers in order to help pack and inspect the food, help with distributions. All of the volunteers who are volunteering at our partner network, so food pantries and meal programs really all throughout southwestern Pennsylvania, it's volunteers and people in the community are the ones who are powering this.
And we're blessed and lucky to be one of those partners here at WTAE when we've had a chance to work the distribution lines and the boxes and come out and do live shots to help highlight the ways that people can help. Because sometimes it's not a dollar amount that people can give, but they can give their time.
Well, it's something that's really interesting about that. Over the course of the last year, we had over 8,000 unique volunteers come in to help us, and that accumulated to 80,000 hours of time. And when you think about the impact that we have, there's no way we could have the reach and the impact and the volume that we accomplished during the year without the work of the volunteers.
And when we talk about time, so often on your website and through different stories Lisa's told us over the years, it's the people who have received the help that are the ones that come back and give their time. And talk about the significance of that.
Yeah, so often people have a connection with food insecurity in some way. So either they grew up in their house, in their household, really relied on a food pantry or relied on friends and family and neighbors in order to really make ends meet. And so that personal connection to the issue certainly is a driver for our volunteer program, but then also people who really just haven't experienced food insecurity themselves, but really believe in their ability to make a difference and pitch in and address the issue.
What do you say to someone who is considering making a donation in terms of the need in our area and all the different things that contribute to that need?
Well, certainly we appreciate any donation, as we said earlier. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you're comfortable giving, we're going to put it to work for you in a very productive way, and you can feel confident that we're going to do the right thing with it. We'd like to have our donors come in and experience the volunteer work that we do as well, and have them connect with the organization, in some cases connect directly with our neighbors, so that they can really feel as though they're being part of the solution and not just handing over some resources to us.
For some people who may see the video that we show of your facility, the market, the distribution center, talk about the outreach that you have in the communities. I know we were talking about the different programs, the 11 counties you serve. There are unique ways that you reach people where they are, when they may be too shy or perhaps embarrassed, when they don't need to be, to ask for help. The schools, different distribution centers. Talk specifically about maybe different ways that you're able to help children as well.
Yeah, the way the food bank works, it's really primarily through our network of wonderful partners. So that represents schools, nonprofits, some businesses as well, that really help enable getting that food out into the community. And more, especially in rural communities or places where transportation is an issue, folks need to have that service as close as possible to home. So that's really where we've been focusing for a number of years, is making sure that we make people-focused decisions on where to put programs, and also getting feedback from particular communities to make sure that we are working through the right interventions in order to meet the most people.
Yeah, some of the money goes directly to distribution centers or the market, and it's also nice to think about kids going home with a backpack full of food when they may not have that, and they need that over the weekend.
When you think about the children's programs, and we're involved in so many of them, there are school lunch programs, there are backpack programs, there are summer food programs, all of those things that maybe we don't think about what happens to a kid after the school year ends who is dependent on those meals that they're getting at their school. We're part of the infrastructure and the network all around our service area that make sure that there are summer programs where food's available for kids during the day.
And straight ahead, we have more on what to expect during WTAE's Project Hunger Day of Giving.
And that includes how you can donate.
For the Record continues in just 2 minutes.